You're listening to Dr. Emma and me on the Tudors Dynasty and Beyond podcast. And now, here are your hosts.
Hello and welcome back to the show. I'm Rebecca Larson, joined again by, wait a minute.
Hi, Rebecca.
Dr. Emma, what is that you have on your ears today?
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
It looks like you have two women hanging from your ears.
Really? Oh, I forgot to take these off before starting the show. Sorry, guys.
What on
I
earth?
was just trying my Christmas look. What do you think, Rebecca? Can you guess who these are?
Oh,
For those who are just listening, because we have a lot of people who just listen.
Yeah.
Can you describe what I'm wearing?
It looks like she's wearing two Christmas ornaments from her ears of two Tudor women. I'm going to assume one is probably Catherine of Aragon.
Bingo! Here we go. Catherine of Aragon.
Yeah, and then who's the other one?
What do you think?
Oh, must be her daughter Mary, huh?
Bingo again! You win the big prize. I mean, they're not the most comfortable things to wear. So once you guys get to see them.
Yeah, they look.
I bought these not at the same time. So she's older than, big surprise, the mom's older. But I got this many, many years ago when I did a research stay in London in 2014. I'm just going to take Catherine off. She's wearing a heart-shaped pendant. Ooh!
Is she really?
Never noticed.
Yeah, I can't see it too well here, but there it is on her bosom.
I just don't want to show her bosom too much, just in case she's very, And then last year I decided I had to get her daughter, Mary the First. She's wearing a similar gown. This cross she's wearing is allegedly the cross that Catherine left to her. They're just going to sit here. They tell me things so I can write down and pretend I'm researching. So they're just going to sit there and judge everything we say.
Wonderful. Well, you're not going to talk about Catherine at all today, are you?
No, not at all. Not at all. That was the only time I'm going to talk about her.
I'm just going to say, if you're listening or watching, place your bets now on how long it takes before Emma talks about Catherine. And it's okay. We love it.
Hey, Thirsty Thursday, you can make it a drinking game. Every time I say Catherine of Aragon, you drink a shot.
I have a feeling a lot of people would be
on
on
the water if you're not drinking alcohol, because
Yeah, I'm drinking.
Everybody's doing their thing. I'm into drinking tea right now.
I told Emma right before we started recording this episode that today, in honor of Catherine of Aragon, I am drinking this new 7-Up, and they're not sponsoring the show by any means. But
so why are you talking about it then?
Because
this pomegranate drink.
It is a pomegranate. It's 7-Up Shirley Temple.
I made for myself.
So pomegranate and cherry for the episode today. But anyway, back to Catherine and Mary. I do want to mention real quick about Mary, because we just announced this week that there will be a new course coming out in November with Dr. Peter Stoffel on spending the holidays with Mary, where he's going to talk about Christmas and he's going to talk about New Year's, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So early bird tickets are on sale right now. You can find a link in the show notes. This one is 4 weeks. Emma's was 6 weeks, so this one's a little bit shorter. And we did that because it is kind of closer to the holidays too. So we want to give you time to do all the things that you want to do.
I'm so excited. Congratulations to Dr. Peter. That was a great idea. I think I love this. The Tudors had a long Christmas. I don't want to get into any of the stuff that Peter's going to talk about, but certainly there's so many fun things going on. Such an important time, because obviously, like we know, like Christmas is now of the gift exchanges, and I'm just going to not say anything else. So otherwise I get carried away.
You get carried.
I'm excited for this. Who doesn't like to get excited for the holidays? I love the holidays.
Yeah. And this course starts on November 19th. So it's just as we're getting into the swing of things for the holidays, right before Thanksgiving in America.
No, they like it too.
She's showing
attending probably, Peter. So make sure you say everything right, because they'll be judging.
Your Christmas ornaments will be judging.
My Tudor Christmas ornaments will be judging you.
That's right.
Wow. That's a phrase I thought I'd never say in my life.
Today, I'm just going to keep going. Today, we're actually talking about two women. I think we may have talked about...
Two women?
No, surprise, right? I can't help it. We love to talk about women in history because their voices have been silenced for so long. It's time to give them a voice, right?
She is right. And because every time I propose to a dude, she's like, meh,
I know.
meh.
It's hard. I'm so difficult to work with, aren't I?
Yeah.
I
Well,
know.
then I'm like, okay, Henry VIII and Francis the First, and she's like, meh. But I guess we can't do that one. No, it's true. It's true. I think yes, women's stories are lesser known, and it is what I study at least. But the women talk a lot about dudes with beards too, for some reason.
I don't know why we do.
Yeah, no, I don't know why either.
If you saw on Twitter this week, Dr. Emma sent me a image of Henry Cavill with a beard.
It's his fault for doing all those thirst traps for all of us. I'm not gonna blame it on Dr. Emma. Poor thing is just passing on a message.
Just passing it up. Okay. Anyway, so today we're talking about two pretty amazing women. I think we've talked about Margaret Beaufort before on the show many times, even if it wasn't Parallel Lives. We've talked about her quite a bit. But the other woman that we are paralleling her with is Mary, Queen of Scots, which I think paralleling.
Sound of the paralleling.
I think at first okay. I think at first when we talked about these two, I wasn't sure how much they were going to have in common until I started thinking about it.
So no one's surprised. You say that every episode, woman. Come on.
I do.
Start believing in parallel lives. I'm so upset with you. You're like, you don't believe in it.
I know. She of little faith.
Parallels because they're women in power. We always choose badass women. So, I mean, it's not difficult to find parallels usually. Women's lives are similar because these women are in these dynastic alliances. And above all, they're there to have babies and perpetuate these lineages. So they do have similarities. But then when we learn about the stories, you kind of unpick like the little stories that each of them is particular and has a particular life and particular context, right?
Yeah.
These two are separated in time for sure.
Most definitely. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. But they do have a lot of parallels. What do you think is the biggest one?
Ooh, well, the biggest one is probably that they were mother of kings.
Yes. Yes. So matriarchs of important lineages in England, at least, right?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. I mean,
so the whole modern period that we call mostly was these two women started the dynasty. First, Margaret was really the matriarch of the Tudors, even though it's not her name. It is her who gives birth to the King of England, right? Henry VII, the founder of the Tudor dynasty.
Yeah.
And Mary is Mary Stuart. And we know what the Stuarts did. So when Elizabeth I died, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
What did they do again?
I think they were like, okay, she didn't say who was going to rule after, so my turn. It was James. He was there. He was like, my turn.
I'm up.
I am so fascinated by the figure of James the First and the Sixth, Mary Stuart's son.
Mm-hmm.
So, another idea for parallel lives and dudes. I'm just going to push this on you. Is actually James and Henry VII. You know, because they are the first kings of a dynasty too. They have in England James because he's king of Scotland. So James is really the first king of Britain. I think that's very important. And I've been studying one of his portraits that's in the Prado Museum for a long time, and he just has the most magnificent shoes with pearls, and his outfit is just out of this world. And just to learn that all this that I study in the 16th century restarts when he becomes king of England because he wants to get along with the Spanish. So what I study is really good because then we get all these reactivation of the artistic exchanges, and they're fascinating in the 17th century with Anna of Denmark, who is also someone very interested in the alliance with the Habsburgs and has a close relationship to Philip II's daughter, Isabel Eugenia. So Mary, Queen of Scots, is the matriarch of a lineage that really brings the Spanish monarchy closer to England again for some time.
And she's connected to the current King of England, correct?
Who? Mary, Queen of Scots?
Yeah, I think that's where they come down from, is from Mary, Queen of
Yeah, well,
Scots.
that's that. I suppose, right? I didn't look that up, but I guess you're right. And they do have big connections to Scotland and Balmoral, and
Yeah.
so yes, really, this is the foundation of Great Britain. Mary, Queen of Scots, is the matriarch of Great Britain. That sounds
Ooh.
big,
Yeah,
but it
that
is
does.
true. It is true. In that portrait that I study, that is in the Prado, in Alejandro Vergara's collection, he's not only wearing those shoes in his hat that is resting on his chair, he has a jewel that he had made specifically to express that he's the king of Britain. And it has three different stones in it to represent the union of the kingdoms. So that is his first international portrait as king of Great Britain. That's in the Prado.
This is the
Um,
one where he's wearing silver, right? And it's full length.
yeah.
Okay.
It's a magnificent portrait. And I've been studying because of that, James I's portraiture. He's got really good portraits. There's some good artists in Scotland, and Mary, Queen of Scots, who is part of our parallel lives, was painted by Jean Clouet, because she lived in
Yes.
France, and she has beautiful portraits. And we've talked about the portraits of Mary and how Elizabeth was jealous of her because of her beauty, her
Mhm.
youth, and I think also her personality. She had a lot of energy. Let's put it that way, Mary Queen of Scots, right? But
Yes.
Margaret Beaufort had a lot of energy too. It's just depended a little bit how. In Margaret Beaufort's case, it was channeled through her son
Yeah.
and favoring her son. In Mary Queen of Scots' case, it's before she has her son when she comes back to England, but she's a ruling queen. It's different to Margaret Beaufort. That's a difference, not a parallel, right?
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
different when a woman is in power than when a woman is attached to power and in close relationship with a powerful person. Henry VII had some mommy issues, I think. Don't you agree?
Yeah. Well, maybe. I feel like everything that I know about Margaret Beaufort, I got from two books. I got from Nicola Tallis's book on hers, which I think was
Mm-hmm.
called Uncrowned Queen, and then the most recent one by Lauren Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
who I recently had on the show. And I feel like who she was as a person is
I
often,
have another one.
oh, really?
Which one did I read? Yes, there's another one. You know what? I studied a lot of, yes, there's one about her, more focus on her cultural and artistic patronage in Cambridge and Oxford,
Oh,
especially in Cambridge, the foundation of colleges, her attachment to the humanist movement. John Fisher is the executor of her will. And then Margaret is, even though I'm not going to talk about the person I want to talk about,
I knew it. I knew you were going to want
everybody take a shot.
to.
Uh, I'll take
My
a shot
pop,
of my
my
coffee or
soda.
my tea. This is English tea, by the way. I'm not putting anything in here. I don't need
I
anything.
know. I think we're just over 10 minutes into the episode.
Okay. Well, I have to talk about Catherine of Aragon. Sorry,
It's
guys.
okay.
Tune off if you don't like Catherine of Aragon forever, because this show is mostly about her. No, but the reality is that Margaret is very important. She founds two colleges, but those colleges are not built, again, we've talked about this before, until the reign of Henry VIII and Catherine of Aragon. Actually, Margaret dies just after her son, just when Henry and Catherine are crowned,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it wasn't very long after.
No, they were crowned. Henry died. Did she make it to the? I think she did make it to the coronation.
I think she
Yes,
did too. I don't remember
yes,
exactly the date that she died, but I remember it was soon
yeah. She
after.
was like, "I want to make it to the coronation." She did. But then also her will. In her will, she leaves everything to Henry VIII. You know what I found in her will? That she also left things to Catherine,
Oh,
like, very important, two pieces of jewelry with the initials of Christ written in Greek,
oh.
IHX. Who is wearing an IHX jewel in a portrait? Catherine of Aragon in one of the Hornboot miniatures, and
Oh.
Jane Seymour in the Holbein that is now in the Kunsthistorisches Museum in Vienna. What does that mean? those probably are dynastic jewels that were coming from the Beauforts, not from the Tudors. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
This is how important when we find these wills of these women to really study them. So I've studied a lot the will of Margaret and her. She, for example, she translated from France into English. She didn't speak Latin very well, so I've studied her more in terms of her attachment to the humanist movement.
Okay. Okay.
And she was very important, and she set a foundation that Catherine of Aragon continued. Because when I studied those colleges and when they were built in the reign of Henry VIII and Catherine, what we find is they have influences, the art, the architecture has influences from Spain.
Wow.
So this was part of my dissertation project. So I studied a lot Margaret. Now I'm studying a lot Mary Stuart because she's someone very important in Counter-Reformation Europe in the 17th century. She's used as a figure for the anti-Elizabethan propaganda in Spain. I mean, the same way there's an anti-Spanish propaganda in England. Oh, surprise, surprise. There's an anti-Anglican propaganda in Spain in the 17th century. Guess what? It happened.
Yeah, it makes sense.
For example, Mary's used as a symbol, her execution, really. Again, like Sir Thomas More and other figures, maybe people that are Tudor fans don't see those things as, well, it's something Elizabeth had to do. From the other side, from the Catholic side, to behead a Catholic queen, ruling queen, was a very, very grave act.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so we need
not even a concert, not even an Anne Boleyn. This is a this is a ruling queen who is just younger, better looking.
Can we call her a ruling queen if she had to abdicate her throne?
The crown belonged to her. That's why she could pass it to her son.
Yeah.
She's not an Anne Boleyn. She's not a consort. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Even if it's just passing. I mean, Henry VIII conquers the throne. It's not Margaret who gives him the throne.
Henry VII.
Henry VII. Sorry, yes, it's Margaret. I'm always gonna.
I know that's why I'll be on it today.
Yes. I was in the course Forging a Queen. It's been so great, and people have been so amazing. By the way, so shout out to them. I know they're fans of the podcast too. I kept mixing up the two. You can't help it, right? Because they have the same name and they're father and son. But Henry VII really conquers the throne. It is through his mother's lineage that he gets the claim.
Right.
But it's not a very good claim, is it?
No, it's definitely not. I think one of the things that I learned recently was the whole thing that Margaret Beaufort was always fighting for her son to be king is definitely a myth. I think she was good at riding whichever side of the wave was winning. And I think that stems from some source that was incorrect about Henry VI at one point, saying that Henry Tudor would make a good king one day. But it doesn't change the fact that he became king. Mary Stuart's son also became king.
Exactly.
And one of the parallels that I think we both recognized immediately with these two women is that they didn't have as much involvement in their sons' lives, especially in the early years, that they would have wished for, right?
Yeah, and this is a difference between Henry VII and Henry VIII. Henry VII spent a lot of time in the continent, years, in exile, not far away from his mom. His mom had him at 13. I mean, also, we have to think of the maturity level of a person of 13 years old who's having a baby.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. It doesn't matter what century it is. That's still young.
That's still very young. Yeah. Right. And then I think for Mary, Queen of Scots, and Margaret too, the level of pressure of you can die any moment, your life is threatened, especially Mary Stuart, I'm sorry to say. Yeah. And Scotland, the Scots are rowdy. Let's not forget. Okay. Their own lords are rowdy. There's a lot of plotting in Scotland.
Yeah.
going on all the time. Every time you learn about these guys, you're like, this is the court I want to know more about. It's always like plot, 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 plot. And you're like, okay,
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Mary, even, I think she has also detachment issues because she lived in France and she was so far away from what she knew. You know, I think she also, these were people who were raised, especially in Mary's case, Mary Stuart, she knew she was the heiress, whether she was going to make it or not. She was a daughter of the previous king.
Yeah. Yeah, she
She had
was.
been sent to France to marry another king, so she was going to be the biggest consort in Europe too. It's just she was. This is the way you get cocky too, because they say, "Oh, she was very cocky with Elizabeth I." Well, Elizabeth I wasn't cocky. Let's just play devil's advocate here, right?
Yeah.
Mary, Queen of Scots, came from a great lineage, but a rowdy lineage. So she was tough too, and rowdy like the rest of them, you know? So, give the woman some credit. Margaret too had to live through a time where everybody was getting killed.
Right. Cousins
I
fighting
don't blame the
cousins.
women for being tough.
Yeah, having to make tough choices in their lives. That's another parallel between these two. They may have been different choices, but they both had to make very difficult choices in their lives.
Yes, yes. And if you think about it, Mary Queen of Scots descends from Margaret. Because who does Mary Rebecca, you've researched so much for this episode. That was a surprise there. You didn't know that.
Well, I did. I think I had just forgotten. When you said that, if you were watching, you would have seen that light bulb
What
moment.
could these have in common? Oh,
Huh.
one comes from the other one, I guess.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yes.
Because Margaret Tudor
Let's
married.
explain that. It's a bit confusing. So,
Yeah, yeah.
Margaret is the matriarch of the Tudors, and she has Henry VII.
Yes, good job.
Good job, Emma. And Henry VII marries Elizabeth of York, so the union of the Lancasters and the Yorks, the
Yeah.
Tudors, and they have several children, right? One of those children is Margaret Tudor, who marries
James.
James the Fourth of Scotland. And we're not going to say anything about who is in charge of his death, because then you would have to drink again. Cheers, everyone.
I think we all know who was responsible for the death.
1513.
Yeah, the Battle of
Battle of
Flodden.
Flodden. James the Fourth of Scotland dies in the battle while Catherine of Aragon is regent,
Yeah.
and Henry the Eighth now is fighting in France with Maximilian the Emperor against the King of France, Louis the 12th. Right? I think I got all those names right.
You did.
If I didn't, guys, cut me some slack. This is a lot of names.
It is.
Then what happens? They already have a baby when he dies in 1513, James the Fifth.
That's right.
James V marries, do you remember?
Marie of Guise.
Yes, Marie of Guise. Again, if you are looking for amazing Renaissance portraits, the Scottish court and the Stuarts and this time has really good. Marie de Guise has a very cool portrait by Cornelis de Lyon. So because the Scots are big allies of the French, they get all these French artists to paint them, and they're very, very good artists too.
Yeah.
So they marry, and they have, who do they have?
Mary Queen of Scots.
Mary Stuart. We know her as Mary Queen of Scots, but really she's Mary Stuart. Yeah. But Margaret Tudor was, her grandmother, right?
This is where I have to really stop and think about it, right? Grandmother.
So yes, they're related. They're related.
Okay.
Mary Stuart descends from Margaret Beaufort, and this is why Elizabeth is threatened too. And this is why James is able to unite Scotland and England because of Catherine of Aragon. Drink again, guys.
Because they are indeed cousins.
They are indeed cousins, and Mary has the claim to Scotland that Elizabeth doesn't have because she's the daughter of Henry VIII and Boleyn.
Mm-hmm.
So on her mother's side, she didn't inherit anything. Let's be clear about that. So in the case of Mary, she has even a claim to unite Britain, and her son does. So that's why Elizabeth I is so, I don't blame the woman either, As soon as she comes back from the continent, she's like, "What are you doing here?
What's going on here, lady?
What's going on? We're on the same island. I'm not feeling that safe in my throne now." And I think, and I'm sorry to the Elizabeth I fans, I'm a fan too, but I think Elizabeth had a little bit of paranoia when it came to possibly being substituted by
Oh,
someone else.
it's
So,
Tudor paranoia. It all
yeah,
started,
it's Tudor paranoia.
like Henry VII won because of conquest. Like it was all about
There was one Tudor
maintaining.
who didn't have Tudor paranoia, though.
Was that Mary by chance?
Thank you.
She had the power of Spain behind her, right?
Well, not only of Spain, I would argue the Habsburgs. So that's a different kind of because it's imperial and it's
Yeah.
in Europe and Philip was Duke of Burgundy and he was not just a Spanish monarch. He was becoming a Spanish monarch, but he was already very powerful in the Netherlands. He was Lord of the Netherlands. Remember when Mary of Hungary? So yeah, Mary never. I mean, other than when Elizabeth is plotting against her and she puts her in a tower, she always is like, no, Mary. Until I have a baby, Elizabeth is my. I mean, she comes into London with her when she's in her coronation with her, and Anne of Cleves is there too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and really, when she dies, what does she write in her will? It's not Philip who is going to write. She could
Right.
have.
Yeah.
Edward and that would have had he would have had a bigger claim than Lady Jane Grey ever had. Sorry. He was
Yeah.
already king. There was no Elizabeth, he could have just said you're a traitor because you're not a Catholic. But Mary didn't do that. Mary knew what was the legitimate succession and the throne.
And she
So
respected that.
she did. I think for her it was different. She came from a different background,
Mm-hmm.
a more secure background. She was a bit more secure of her own lineage, but then that obliged her to comply with it. And then Elizabeth, she knew that was her next in king because she was also daughter of Henry VIII.
Right.
Was the one giving her the claim to the throne anyway, not her mother, who she loved more than anything in the world. Drink again, everyone.
I hope you're drinking
This
water,
will be
everyone.
used in Christmas. People just put the parallel lives of Margaret. We're gonna it's Friday night.
Oh my gosh.
No, but it's true. It's fascinating to when you find a parallel and then you go down that rabbit hole
Yeah.
and see how it's different in both cases, but it's similar. So I think they get a lot of bad press, these two.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to talk when we talk about Margaret Beaufort, for example, the Spanish princess. Oh my goodness. Remember that show?
I do. We've talked about that briefly on other episodes.
That was hard to watch.
Did you?
The specific relationship between Margaret and Catherine, like Margaret thought Catherine was a liar and she hated her and all. That is such not the truth.
Right.
That is so manipulated. Sorry to the people who did the show, but they should have done better.
Well, it's based off of a book that's historical fiction.
Mm.
Yeah.
Then that needs to be a big disclosure or more often or in a way because and that's what people end up thinking is what happened in the reality. So
Whoa, hang on. Can we talk about the Tudors? Did Henry Cavill was he really like a ringer for Charles Brandon?
you brought him up.
Just had to say that.
Which Henry Cavill are we talking about? Season 1, season 5?
Yeah, the earlier seasons when he was still
My
young.
favorites. No, don't do this to me.
I know. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
I mean, my favorite part of that show, aside from Catherine is the best one of the best I've seen, but the accent thing I always talk about. But Henry VIII is the least Henry VIII I've ever seen in my life. I'm sorry.
And I loved him. I loved Jonathan Rhys Meyers as Henry VIII. I just think
Really?
I just think he had like the right temperament. He may not have looked like him whatsoever, but something about how the character was written, I identified with as Henry VIII.
Okay.
That's just me personally.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Just would have been nice that it was matched to like what the person looked like.
Well, Catherine of Aragon didn't have black hair, did she?
No, she didn't. No, no,
Anne
that's true.
Boleyn didn't have blue eyes.
No, and they probably didn't all have all their teeth either.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Especially like when you got to the Elizabethan period. That's, I think, when it got even worse.
Oh, with this, yes, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the consequences of the globalization process, and for example, the introduction of sugar into the diets, and we
Yeah.
know the notorious example of Elizabeth.
Yeah.
But before they did, there's a book. I can't remember the name of the author now in Spanish about hygiene in medieval Spain. They were pretty good in medieval Spain about cleaning their teeth, for example, and things like that. It's as soon as you introduce sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had read once that during Elizabeth's reign that they would brush their teeth with sugar. So that seems like a great idea, huh?
Mm. Yikes.
They had no idea. They had no
Right.
idea what that would do to
Well,
their teeth.
they thought that tomatoes were like a venomous plant for like a century before they started. Oh, potatoes was. I don't know which one. Potatoes, I think it was, until there was an Irish person there. I think you can cook that.
It's safe. You can eat it. And then they were like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I've got a whole island. We can just have these guys. I can say that because these are my ancestors, okay?
That's right. You are Irish too.
I am Irish. I took a DNA test. Yes.
I
Oh, well, and let's not forget, and we never talk about this, Ireland in this period, right?
Yeah. I don't know anything about Ireland during this period or
It's
at all.
interesting how yeah, it's under, I mean, it's really Elizabeth the First is Elizabeth the First of England and Ireland. And the Tool claims ownership of Ireland as their title lords of Ireland. So
Didn't he name Henry Fitzroy as something in Ireland?
well, in Ireland, they had a representative. Someone it was he had a name, specific name. I can't remember now.
Yeah.
I should. But
Lieutenant or I don't remember
yes,
anything.
yes. But Ireland is one of the places that prepare your glasses defends Catherine of Aragon. Because why?
Oh,
Because they're so Catholic.
oh, okay.
And they have commercial ties to Spain, fishing. For example, one of the only accounts of what Ireland is like in the early 16th century is an account when Charles V's brother Ferdinand, the future Emperor Ferdinand I, gets stranded in Ireland, and they just spend some days there, and they describe they're like, these guys are something else,
These guys are next level.
next level guys. You think they're going to be like the English, and they look nothing like the English. They act nothing like the English. So really, they're surprised. Think about this. The Romans called Ireland Ibernia, so the land where it's always winter.
Oh, so it's
Yeah.
like North Dakota.
Yes, it is like North Dakota.
I
Yes.
can say that, people. I lived there for 2 decades.
Yes. It's intense, it's intense in Ireland in the winter, especially, right?
Yeah.
So it's funny how we forget so much about it, but really they play a huge role. And I found evidence that they have a lot of a strong presence in the north of Spain. That makes sense to me. I'm the product of that.
Yeah.
But how important they become in Henry VIII's time, really, Ireland becomes, not only as a place that he claims ownership of or lordship of, but a place that starts to rebel when the king is not doing things. And they definitely stay Catholic. And that becomes the cornerstone of the independence, really, of Ireland later on. They remain Catholic, so that's one of the biggest points of the identity of Ireland.
Hmm.
Why? Till this day, Spanish and Irish people somehow, even though they speak different languages, get along very well and all that. Is there common animosity against the English? This is a secret we never share with the English, so don't tell anyone from England. Okay?
Shh, it's a secret.
It's a secret.
I love this. I see you never know what's going to come out during a Parallel Lives episode. That's what I love about these episodes is that we can really start talking about two figures, usually women, and it turns into a broader look at history in general.
You know what is really interesting, and I learned this from one of my daughter's books. We should find an expert in these women. There's very interesting pirate women in
Yeah.
Ireland in the Elizabethan period. And I was reading about them in one of my daughter's books about famous women from history. And these women in these boats sound like they're badass too. So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
should find maybe we should do parallel lives of lesser known women. We keep talking about queens and
Yeah.
Margaret. We never said what Margaret really was. She was a countess.
Yes.
So she's not no one. She's a
Right.
high ranking in the nobility, obviously.
I think we should talk about their marriages too, because I feel
Yes,
like I
yes,
don't know that their marriages necessarily parallel each other, but they were both married several times. And
yes,
in
yes.
in Margaret's case, if you count the first one with the De La Pole, then she had four. And Mary
Oh,
Stuart.
the girl got around.
She, well, that
And that's
one.
why she isn't her. There's also a picture, one of the first pictures, full length pictures. She's praying. It's in the National Portrait Gallery. She's dressed like a nun. Yeah, right, like a nun. Married 4 times.
I wish we had portraits of her before she started dressing like that, when she was dressed like everybody else at court. I would love to see a portrait of her like that.
That's very typical, though. I mean, once they start wearing that, they never usually change.
Yeah.
And it's a useful. It gives them authority. That's why they do it too. It's not just because they're very sad all the time. It's because being a widow, you have more rights too, and you have an authority you can't have when you. So, yep,
Yeah.
and it's
Well,
what is expected from you too. You're not looking for a husband anymore. Allegedly, I mean, you are, but you're not because she got married 4 times. And Mary also, right?
yeah. Well, one of the things that I do see in common with the marriages is Margaret's last marriage to Stanley.
Hmm.
Right, because he was kind of like wishy-washy during the reign of Edward, during the Battle of Bosworth. It was which side is he going to choose, right? So he was kind of always that guy who was like, well, we'll see how the tide goes, and I'll go with
Yeah.
that side. Now, when it comes to Mary Stuart's husband, who of her husbands do you think was the most like that? I mean, in my head, who was she married to? Francis the Second, right? That was her
Hmm.
first
Yes.
husband.
So the son of Francis the First.
Yep. Her second husband was,
And so she lived in France, and
yeah,
that's you're not playing in your terrain when you have to go somewhere else to marry someone.
yep,
Then she comes back home,
yeah.
um,
She
and she
married
marries
her cousin,
her cousin because why not?
Henry
But
Lord Darnley.
yeah, but that enables her to continue with her lineage because he's a Stuart.
Yep,
So she does an Isabella there, Isabel of Castile, right?
yep,
Marry your cousin. He's the same name as you. He's the same house, the same lineage. He's the same clan
yep.
in
Strengthen.
in Scotland. So strengthen. They didn't know what we know about genetics and all these things. They did this concept. We were just repelled by it, but they didn't have this concept, right?
Right.
And it was kind of like even encouraged because these people, you didn't have that many options really. And with all the things happening to the kings, your dad dead, the other one dead, the other one dead, all dead, it's difficult. So cousin, that cousin that you see at Christmas, he's looking a lot cuter now that he's grown a beard. You know what I mean?
That's
When they come
gross.
back to
No,
Scotland, he's like, hmm, hmm.
she did not see him at Christmas, did she? Come on.
Well, no, I don't know, but there was, but I'm sure there was pictures of Mary
Yeah,
in Scotland while she was gone.
yeah.
I mean, it was, after all, I mean, think about him. He's like, I'm going to score a queen. Yay. Right?
Right. Yeah, it was a win-win for him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just, and I know her family pretty well. They're my family too.
My family too. Oh my gosh. Okay. So then we get to our third husband who we
Like North
think
Dakota.
no, I was gonna say where I live in Minnesota. That's what it's like. The
Yeah.
the pool is very shallow here for options. Anyway, we're moving on to Mary Stuart's third husband, Bothwell, right? Who,
Yes.
whether or not she wanted to marry him, do we know for certain? I don't think we do know.
No, not for certain.
Yeah, so
I mean, she wasn't very fortunate. Yes, is that what you try to say?
Yeah, she
Sounds like.
Was it? I was trying to find a parallel in the marriages between Margaret Beaufort's husband Stanley, whatever his first name is, I can't remember, and either her and Mary Stuart's second or third husband. Were there similarities? Like I feel like Henry Stuart, Lord Darnley, probably was a little bit like Margaret Beaufort's last husband. I don't know. Maybe I'm stretching. I'm trying.
I don't think I know them enough, and this is really, I haven't researched them that well, because really, other than her cousin, who she has her son with, it doesn't really matter. She's a queen. That's what I'm saying again.
Yeah.
She's a famous one. Who knows about I mean, you know about Francis the First second if you study a bit her early life of that, but really her husbands are not that famous, right?
Right.
In case of Margaret Beaufort, I think, are they famous?
The only one that you would think of immediately is Edmund Tudor, right? Because
why? Because he gives the name to the dynasty, really. And those are the two guys that are only somewhat remarkable in the lives of these two women. Why? Because they are the ones who really transmitting the lineage.
Mm-hmm.
It is Margaret who gives Henry the legitimacy to go into battle to say, I am a claimant for the Lancastrians because everybody's dead.
Right.
I am the last. Yeah.
For those who don't know, Margaret Beaufort was descended from John of Gaunt.
Where was she? Come on.
Yes.
It was a dubious second line.
It was.
A marriage. It was a bastard line.
Which was then legitimized.
Oh, that makes it all legitimate. Yeah, you've been a bastard all your life, but now we're just going to do this little ritual and write this little document.
Hey, if Parliament says it's true, it's true. I think Parliament said it was true.
You can take that with a grain of salt, people. Okay. That's what I'm saying. This is the construction of history, really. Legitimize, that doesn't work that way sometimes, or for many people. And this is why there's so much conflict, because this is happening. These kings getting around, sorry to say, and then having trouble to see who's the legitimate heir, who's not.
Right. Well, it would have been a problem for Henry VIII as well with Henry Fitzroy, right? Because he was technically illegitimate, even though Henry recognized him. What would have happened if he had not had Edward VI? Would he have tried to put Henry Fitzroy in the line of succession?
Yes, of course he would have.
And then what problems
was his
with
natural
that?
son. Think about this. Yeah. Charles V has his natural daughter to rule for him in the Netherlands.
Margaret of Parma.
I remember an episode. Who did we parallel Margaret of Parma with?
Gosh, was it Margaret of Austria? We've done so many episodes now.
Yes, I know.
Can't even keep track. We have to, like, when we come up with ideas for episodes, we have to go back and just make sure we haven't done them.
Tags, though, in the episodes too, because sometimes these other references come up, and it's good to. I would like to now know who we parallel Margaret of Parma and for which reasons, because you just keep talking about these women, and they all have connections. Really, they depends on the way they're born. What kind of title they're born into. It's not the same to be born from a king, than to marry a king, than to be all those things. So it's very interesting when you pair two people up and then you talk about the context and other names come up and the parallels just pop, right?
I love it. This is what I love about doing these parallel lives episodes with you. And I feel like we could do them forever, but you had mentioned in the last episode about doing a historical Tinder, and we got some pretty good feedback on that, didn't we?
Oh, really? We got good feedback on historical Tinder?
Yeah.
How does this work, though, Rebecca?
I don't even know. This was your idea.
You're the one on Tinder.
I am not on Tinder. I have no idea.
Girl, I haven't used Tinder. I've never used Tinder.
Yeah, I don't know the first thing about Tinder.
I'm 85 years old, okay?
Oh my gosh. If you're 85, I'm like 90. So
I wasn't going to tell anyone, but now that you mention it. No, I think it would work because it's basically not something that is very ingenious. There's a lot of marriage projects that never come to fruition.
Yeah.
Just picking those up and being like, what would this have been like if Mary Rose would have married Charles V?
Right.
Mary Rose Tudor would have married Charles V and would have become Empress, Holy Roman Empress, Queen of Spain, and mother to the next King of Spain.
Would it have changed the dynamic between England and Spain or the Empire?
Would have been his name Charles again? He would have been Philip? Would he have been a Henry?
Yeah, right.
So who knows, you know?
And just because they were
Or would
related.
she have a daughter then? And what would that entailed or what could have happened, you know?
Yeah.
And what would have that represented for the relationship between Henry and Charles? Henry wouldn't have been able to divorce Catherine.
Yeah, I feel like there is some weight to doing a historical Tinder episode.
Maybe we should start with Charles and Mary Rose. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
I mean, he wasn't the most handsomest prince in the Renaissance, but Titian could always, you know, put a beard on him, throw him on a horse at dawn. I mean, we have to talk about how Titian creates these. He does a favor to all these dudes that are not that good looking.
I feel like I don't know why I had Beyonce in my head about putting a ring on it, instead saying putting a beard on it. Put a beard on it.
Putting a ring on it. Well, actually, in his picture that we've talked about this picture before of Charles V that is sent to Mary Rose, and we know she has it, and now we deviate and prepare our lives. We're already talking about historical Tinder. He's holding a little rosemary branch, and we've talked a little bit about this. Remember what it was? A reference symbolism. I know you love symbolism.
I do love it, but I don't remember this one.
It's for Aphrodite.
Ooh.
Who is Aphrodite? The goddess of
love,
sex, people,
sex. Yeah, okay.
So Charles was sending a message. He's like, it's not just a chin that you're going to see.
I am a sexual beast. That's what
I am a sexual beast. Look at my chin. You're going to have babies with gigantic chins, woman.
Oh my God.
Get ready. You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the picture that she was carrying around when she was painted as Princess of Castile. She was styled princess. So imagine in the Tudor court, she would walk around and people would bow to her as the Princess of Castile, not as the sister of the King of England anymore, you know?
Yeah.
So imagine what that did to women while they were still in the courts, to their status. They were sent jewels. They would start to dress differently. They would learn the language and the customs. They would get a picture of the guy with some rosemary saying, "Hey, I'm waiting for you here in Flanders."
I imagine, I don't know if you ever watched Seinfeld, but I imagine that episode where George Costanza has himself painted on a chaise lounge and he's like just wearing his underwear.
Exactly kind of like that. But in the 16th century codes of portraiture, it's a little branch of rosemary, okay? But everybody knew what it meant, okay? Everybody knew. So when that arrived, I'm sure it was Catherine, Catherine Margon, drink again, everyone. I'm sure it was Catherine who gave it to her and explained to her, because Catherine knew about all these symbols. She'd been raised in a court where this was much more prominent. She would have been like, do you know what that means? But I have to get you some 90s ready for when you go over.
We're going to have to go to Victoria's Secret, daughter.
Yes. No Victoria's Secret. We have a woman that does it for us. She'll come and, yeah. But it's true. Catherine prepares her dowry, prepares all the people that are going to go with her, and is really the one talking to Margaret of Austria about arranging this marriage. So marriage arrangements, historical Tinder, was mostly done by women.
It was. Okay, so we definitely have to plan at least to do one episode of historical Tinder to see how it works, see if everybody likes it.
Would you do historical Tinder? I mean, who would have been the seventh wife?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's something to think about. I can't say just off the top of my head. Do you have a suggestion already?
Well, Margaret of Austria could have been
Mm.
Henry VIII's wife. Remember, there was a project to
Yeah.
when Henry actually rejects Catherine
Mm.
while Henry VII is still alive because Henry VII is negotiating with Crybaby
That's right.
and sends two pictures of Margaret to marry Henry VII. But afterwards, when Crybaby's dead, they retake that when Henry VII is like, Fernando's not sending the money. We're not going to marry Henry to Catherine. We're going to marry Henry to Margaret of Austria. And Catherine is like, Dad, if you don't send the money, they're going to marry to Margaret. And she's
Right.
like, this can't have some
She's
personal
like, then I
move.
have to come back home, Dad. And so,
Yeah.
and he's like, whoa, whoa,
Then there's
whoa.
only the old guy left. No, because he was dead by then. No, she would have been stranded in England and probably a bit like Anne of Cleves would have found a way to either go into a convent or maybe return home or
Yeah. Just
probably
live.
engage in another marriage. I mean, with someone else. Don't think they would have left Spanish Infanta just lingering aside. That something, Wait, we can talk about it.
Yeah. Oh, Emma, parallel lives. We've come to the end of this episode again. They all go so fast, don't they?
Yeah, and these women are amazing. I mean, they do kind of like represent two different eras, I think. Margaret is like the end of the Middle Ages, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But she's already doing things that announce the Renaissance. And I think for me, Mary Stuart is one of the most infamous female monarchs. It's not just that, she made mistakes, yes, but she was a human in a very difficult position.
Mhm.
She needs a bit more credit, for the life she had. So I do
For
like
sure.
Mary Stuart. I can't. I think that movie with what was her name? I think she's an Irish actress.
Yeah, the one I can't pronounce.
Yes, she's a very. I thought she convinced me as Mary Stuart, and I did like her energy and her story. So even the people who weren't great is like, let's study them. They have great moments in life too.
Yeah,
I think Mary Stuart is a very dramatic character. That's why I like her.
she is. I like her too.
And
And
I'm
but
studying potentially a portrait of her in the
Ooh.
Prado Museum.
Oh, exciting.
More on that
I can't. And you're about
soon.
to leave for a very exciting trip too, aren't you? You want to
Yes.
tell everybody about it?
Yes, I do want to tell everyone. This weekend I'm going all the way to Connecticut to the Yale Center for British Art, where I'll be doing my research stay as a visiting fellow for 6 weeks.
I just got
So it's
goosebumps.
so exciting. Thank you to Gemma Field, Dr. Gemma Field, who's been invited here and been a guest. For opening the doors of this amazing place. I'm going to study their miniature portraits, and these are the early ones, especially. They have a magnificent Holbein one, Jean Clouet. These artists we
Oh
talk
my
about,
gosh.
and a Hornback miniature
So
portrait of probably who? Mary.
that's like, are you going to be able to share any of this while you're there, or is that going to all have to be kept secret?
We'll find out next week.
Oh, I can't wait. That's it. It's all so very exciting.
Do you think I'm not going to share stuff? Come on. Nobody believes that.
You're going to get there and they're going to be like, Dr.
I'm gonna
Emma,
be like, hi guys, this is my new blog. It's Dr. Emma at the Yale Center for British Art.
here's everything I've discovered
Well,
so
think
far.
about this. They've remodeled this amazing
Yeah.
building where it is at. This is an artistic building made by Louis Kahn, designed by Louis Kahn. It's incredible. I can't think I'm so lucky that I'm going there. And I can't thank enough the team. They've been so great too. I mean, I'm set up for everything. I'm getting a bit nervous, the anticipation. Good
Yeah.
nervous, not bad nervous, but nervous.
It's going to be so fun. You're going to have such a great time and you're
I've
just
never
going to.
been there either, and I'm a person who does like to go to new places. I can't wait to see what that part of the United States looks like, New Haven, Connecticut. I'm sure it's wonderful.
I
I've
wish.
heard it looks a bit like England. So I'm
Oh,
excited about that.
Yeah. See, I've never been to the East Coast, and that is definitely
The
on my
campus,
bucket.
the Yale campus apparently is a bit inspired in campuses in Britain. So,
Oh, you're gonna have to post pictures so that we can see too.
oh, I'm sure I will.
I love it. So while Emma is off doing her amazing research at the Yale Center for Art, I always forget what it's called.
And if there's not anybody in the area, on the 18th of November, there's a lecture I'll be giving on the hornbound miniature of an unknown lady. And it's open to everyone. You just have to pre-register. So if anyone's in the East Coast and wants to come and see that, it's open to the public. And the museum is open to the public. So anyone who's in New Haven, come and say hi. I'm sure I'll be there.
Yeah, we definitely have listeners on the East Coast, that's for sure.
Oh,
Well,
I can't wait to be back. It's been years since I've been to the East Coast. I mean, when I fly to Europe sometimes, but when you're in a layover in an airport, that doesn't count. I
no.
can't wait. I can't wait.
I
I'm so
can't
excited.
wait. Well, while Emma's doing that, I'm just going to be over here and I'm going to keep publishing stuff on my Substack on my Thomas Seymour research.
Yes.
And I've been so excited at the feedback that I've gotten so far. Every Wednesday, I put out another chapter or section from the book that I've written so far. And on Mondays, I just put out just general articles about my research and kind of some of the things that I've learned along the way that aren't necessarily in the book. So it's been a lot of fun. I feel like we're both kind of heading in a
I have
fun
a request
direction.
for you, Rebecca, on your what you're posting.
Yeah.
You know the letter we always talk about with the paint tricks?
Yes.
Do you
Okay.
think you could
You want me to
do
write
this
something?
favor to Dr. Emma and post about that, please?
I can do that. I'll do that as one of my free articles on Mondays.
You're so generous. That's why we
Just
love you, Rebecca.
just for you. Only for
Oh,
you.
thank you. I'll miss
Well,
you, but
uh,
I'll be back soon. 6 weeks fly. And we are
yeah,
at the time of the year that time flies, especially when you're having fun with Dr. Peter and Mary the First and Christmas, you
that's
know?
right. I can't. Oh,
She's like,
there she is.
sign up for the chorus, people. And Catherine of Aragon approves. So
I love it.
drink
Well,
your last drink because I already
yes.
mentioned her again.
Dr. Emma, thank you so much for joining me again today for another episode of Parallel Lives, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you, Rebecca. Have a great day, guys. Bye bye.
Thanks for listening to the latest episode of Dr. Emma and Me. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to rate and review the show. It really helps more people find it. Don't forget to follow or subscribe so you'll know as soon as a new episode drops. And if you'd like to support what we're doing, head over to Patreon and become a patron. You'll get early access, bonus content, and more. Thanks again for being here. See you next time.